The following day, driven by an insatiable obsession that overrode his work commitments, Femi found himself wandering into the chaotic heart of Balogun Market, one of Lagos's oldest and most vibrant trading hubs, seeking any tangible traces of Adukura's era amid the modern frenzy of stalls overflowing with Ankara fabrics, spices, and electronics. Amid the cacophony of hawkers shouting prices for everything from colorful textiles to smoked fish and fresh produce, he encountered Iya Tolu, a 65-year-old Yoruba trader with weathered ebony skin etched with lines of wisdom from years under the sun, short gray braids tied neatly under a vibrant geli head tie, a plump body shaped by a life of carrying heavy loads and birthing 5 children, dressed in a bright Iro and Buba ensemble patterned with floral designs that fluttered as she moved. She eyed Femi with a knowing, piercing gaze, as if seeing through his facade, and said in a low, gravelly voice, "You look like you're chasing ghosts from the old days, young man. I know that box you speak of. It's cursed, tied to a woman who vanished long ago, her cries still carried on the wind." Her words were drawn from generations of market gossip, passed down from her mother who had been a close friend of Adukura's in their youth, revealing more about the curse's origin. Adukura's ritual performed under a blood-red moon, invoking Oya to trap her pain and ensure it would be heard in the future. Iya Tolu added a stern warning, "Leave it alone, or the wind will take you too, pulling you into its timeless storm," introducing a suspenseful twist by hinting at other individuals who had been lost to the mailbox's pull over the years, their stories whispered as cautionary tales among the traders. Iya Tolu's background was rooted in a family of market women who had traded in Lagos since the colonial era, her mother having witnessed Adukura's growing despair and the night of the curse, making her a bridge between past and present, her knowledge serving to deepen Femi's investigation while adding layers of danger and intrigue. The origin of her knowledge lay in oral traditions preserved among women in the market, and its closure came in providing Femi with a clue to the next step, an old photograph she handed him of Aduka, sparking further revelations. Clutching the old photograph from Iya Tolu, Femi examined it under the market's light, noticing a faint inscription on the back. "The wind holds the key to the lost." This was no ordinary photo. It depicted Aduka and Urban in a stolen moment, their faces close, but with Urban's eyes shadowed by guilt. The inscription glowed subtly to Femi, a twist from the curse activating the image as a portal to more glimpses, leading him to experience a brief vision of Adukura's betrothal announcement, her face masked in false smile while her eyes screamed for escape. Femi whispered, "This is the beginning of her end." The origin of the photo was Iya Tolu's mother hiding it as a memento, and its closure in revealing Urban's betrayal, pushing Femi toward the library. The photograph and Iya Tolu's tales consumed Femi's thoughts, causing him to skip an important morning meeting on a high-stakes corporate merger, his boss's scolding phone calls going unanswered as he pursued answers that transcended logic and delved into the realm of history and myth. He made his way to the dusty public library on Lagos Island, a grand but aging colonial building with high ceilings, peeling paint, and shelves sagging under the weight of forgotten volumes. Under the lazy rotation of ceiling fans that stirred the musty air without providing much relief, he sweated profusely as he thumbed through old microfilm reels and fragile newspapers from the 1950s. His forehead beaded with perspiration from both the humidity and the intensity of his search. The elderly librarian, Mr. Chukwu, a 72-year-old Igbo man with weathered ebony skin marked by age spots, balding gray hair in thin wisps, a stout body from years of sedentary work, dressed in a faded brown agbada over trousers, leaned over the counter and said in a hoarse whisper, "Aduka Adeyemi? That name rings a bell from the old stories. She vanished in 1952, leaving her family baffled and the police empty-handed. Some say the wind took her." His knowledge was derived from archival records and oral histories collected from patrons over decades, expanding on Adukura's background, her father's cocoa empire built on the post-World War II economic boom, her secret manuscripts sent to London publishers only to be rejected due to colonial biases against African voices, and the mounting family pressures that led to her betrothal, which she saw as a prison. Femi's eyes fixed on a black-and-white newspaper article. Young woman missing, Lagos family baffled by sudden disappearance. Accompanied by a grainy photograph of Aduka, her gentle eyes full of unspoken dreams and her smile cautious, as if she knew the camera captured only a fraction of her soul. Then, a hidden note in the article's margin, visible and glowing only to Femi, read, "The wind hides what the heart seeks, but reveals to those who dare." A supernatural twist from the curse guiding him toward more dangers and discoveries. This research session marked a pivotal plot point, uncovering Femi's direct familial link to Aduka, his great-aunt, a fact suppressed by Iyabode to shield the family from the stigma of her disappearance and rumored madness. The glowing note originated from the curse's enchantment on historical records, designed to aid the resolver, and its closure came in propelling Femi to confront the moving box, heightening the suspense with the promise of personal stakes. Emboldened by the library's revelations but unsettled by the personal connections emerging, Femi returned to the Surulere alley that night, his steps quickened by anticipation, only to be met with shock. The mailbox had vanished completely, leaving behind nothing but a bare wall marked by a patch of rust and a lingering shadow, as if the ground had opened up and swallowed it whole in an act of defiance against his pursuit. The wind kicked up violently, howling like a wounded animal, fluttering discarded papers and trash like frantic birds escaping a predator, and a nearby streetlight flickered erratically overhead like a beacon sending distress signals. Confused and frantic, Femi cried out into the night, "No, no, no. It was here just yesterday. I was here, touching it." But the wind, as the curse's faithful messenger, knew precisely where it had relocated the box, this disappearance being a deliberate test woven into Aduka's ritual to gauge the commitment of the chosen one, forcing them to hunt it down and prove their worthiness. This move originated from the curse's nomadic nature, intended to weed out the unworthy, and its closure would come with the box's reappearance, but not without introducing new twists and dangers along the way, escalating the suspense to new heights. The shock of the disappearance clung to Femi like a second skin as he returned to his modern law office in a high-rise building, the city's skyline visible through large windows, but the night's events culminated in the lights flickering unnaturally, heralding the sudden appearance of the stranger, Urban Okafor, the ghost of Aduka's spurned lover, manifesting as he had in 1952 at 28, a Nigerian man of mixed Yoruba Hausa descent with warm caramel skin now tinged gray in his ethereal form, short curly black hair peeking under a wide-brimmed fedora hat. A lean muscular build, dressed in a crisp 1950s khaki suit with a narrow tie, his eyes clouded like smoked glass obscuring any emotion. Emerging from the corner shadows as if stepping out of a fog, he spoke in a cold, resonant voice. "You've opened something ancient and dangerous, Mr. Owolabi. And some doors, once cracked, don't close easily without a price." Femi, his hand reaching instinctively for his smartphone on the desk, found the signal dead, demanding in a voice laced with fear, "Who are you, and how did you get in here?" Urban stepped forward, his shoes making no sound on the tile floor, replying, "I am a witness to her pain, a warning for those who meddle, and once, a lover who failed her." Suddenly, a burst of wind rushed through the closed windows without shattering the glass, extinguishing the lights and plunging the room into darkness, leaving Femi in suspenseful terror. Urban's background was that of a colonial administration clerk who fell deeply in love with Aduka during secret meetings in market-back alleys, but betrayed her by choosing family honor and an arranged marriage over elopement, prompting her curse that inadvertently bound his spirit as a protective yet tormented guardian. This appearance was the curse's escalation, a twist that revealed the personal and emotional stakes, with closure arriving in Urban's eventual redemption through Femi's persistence. The next morning brought no solace. Instead, the mailbox had reappeared in a new location, a quiet sidewalk near the historic Tafua Balewa Square, standing undisturbed amid the hurry of commuters who seemed blind to its presence, as if it existed in a parallel plane. Femi, drawn by an internal compass, approached slowly, his hands trembling as he pulled out 5 letters from inside, each dated a week apart in 1952, all penned by Aduka and addressed directly to him with increasing urgency and intimacy. Her voice echoed in his mind as he read, "The wind carries pieces of me across the void. I fear it is scattering me through time, leaving fragments in places I cannot reach." She described echoes resounding through invisible walls, voices in her dreams that spoke of futures she couldn't comprehend, memories she had never lived but felt deeply, and a man holding a pen in his hand, clearly Femi, writing back to her across the abyss. This multiplication of letters was the curse's intensified response to Femi's unwavering persistence, each envelope a fragmented piece of Adukara's soul, designed to build emotional connection and suspense toward an inevitable convergence of past and present. The origin of this proliferation lay in the ritual's multiplicative power, meant to overwhelm and engage the resolver, and its closure in Femi assimilating the messages to unlock the next phase. With the stack of letters burning in his pocket like coals, Femi made the difficult journey to his aunt's home in Mushin, a modest compound where Iya Bode, his 68-year-old Yoruba widow aunt with wrinkled cocoa skin from years of sun exposure, graying hair tied in a simple wrap, a plump body from market labor and cooking large family meals, dressed in a loose green buba and iro, sat on a low stool shelling beans. Confronted with the letters and photograph, she broke down in tears, confessing, "Aduka was my aunt, your great aunt on your father's side. She cursed that box in her heartbreak over Urban's betrayal, and we hid the story to avoid the shame and rumors of madness that could ruin our family." This revelation twisted Femi's sense of identity, linking his pragmatic nature to the inherited trauma of suppression and loss, the origin of the secret in Iya Bode's youth when she witnessed the family's distress, and its closure in Femi's forgiveness, healing the rift and propelling him forward. Seeking guidance, Femi visited Baba Ibiji, a 70-year-old Yoruba diviner in a dim Idamoda alley shrine, with ashen ebony skin, a long white beard, thin frame from ascetic living, dressed in a white agbada adorned with cowrie shells. Casting the shells, he intoned, "The wind chose you because you carry her blood and her unfinished song, but a shadow, the lover, seeks to stop you, fearing his own judgment." This prophecy hinted at Urban's ongoing interference, a twist from the curse's dual nature allowing guardians to resist, originated from Adukara's ritual balancing help and hindrance, closed when Femi overcame the obstacles. That night, a new dream assaulted Femi, showing Urban's betrayal. In a secluded grove, Urban, 28, caramel skin, curly hair, lean, in suit, turning away from Adukara's plea, "Choose me or lose me forever." The dream ended with Adukara's curse invocation, her voice chanting, "Oria, carry my pain through time." Femi awoke whispering, "The betrayal was the spark." This twist revealed the emotional core, origin in the curse's memory sharing, closure and empathy for Urban. Following clues from the letters about broken time and frozen hands, Femi arrived at Alagbeda's Time and Curiosity, an obscure colonial-era clock repair shop in downtown Lagos that he had never noticed despite passing the area countless times, its weathered signage creaking in the breeze like a omen. Inside, brass clocks of various sizes lined the walls, hanging from rafters, their hands all frozen at odd hours except for one that ticked unnaturally loud, echoing like a heartbeat in the small space. The shopkeeper, Baba Alagbeda, an 80-year-old blind Yoruba man with scarred ebony skin from a lifetime of working with hot metals, white hair and long dreads falling to his shoulders, a frail, thin body leaning on a cane, dressed in a tattered dashiki stained with oil, turned his sightless eyes toward Femi and said mysteriously, "The girl you search for, she passed through here. Long ago. Or maybe tomorrow, for time is not linear in this place." Thanks for watching. Watch out for part 3.